new crusading guide. He says that he's not written, so meaning the former president has not written to government on those aids that Mrs. Joyce Muktari speaks to. And I was asking that question early on. I didn't know that you had to actually request your ex-crusher, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it depends. In certain bureaucracies, what normally happens is that before you make a claim, you have to apply for the claim before it is made. But we will have to still ask ourselves whether that is the right way to go about it. The person deserves a legitimate claim. And he has left office a year now. That claim has not been made. And all we're saying is that he has not requested that payment to be made. So assuming that the person does not make that request in the next 5 or foreseeable years, it means that payment will not be made. When we all know as a nation the person has rendered a service to the nation and deserves to be paid. It doesn't only apply to the former president, but many public servants who have retired from the service. You retire from the service, you go to Senate, you go through a lot of frustrations before you get your retirement benefit paid. That is not even the only thing. You go to public service when you are even employed. Ideally, my employer knows that I have employed this person and the person has started work for me. The best thing is to do is to just request certain information from that person, and based on that, pay the person. But we go through a whole lot of bureaucracies and delay such payments. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here. And it's good that it is happening to politicians. If it happens to politicians and they feel the pain, then they will see the need to change the system such that it will be easy not only for them as politicians, but also for other ordinary Ghanaians. Because I know the pains a lot of Ghanaians go through when they want to apply for their retirement benefits. Just
tell me about that. Yes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That if, for example, a teacher who retires from the service, you go to Senate, bring this document, you bring it, bring this. And one thing that we must always remember is that the moment the person goes on retirement, the person is deprived of any salary at the end of each month. And so that person waits on that retirement benefit and subsequent monthly payment that will be made to that person. And so if you deny the person this for a whole year, how do you expect that person to survive? I think it's something that as a nation we should look at and try to expedite action. Elsewhere, if you go on retirement, the next day they credit your account because they have your details before you even left office. They credit your accounts with whatever you deserve. Not that somebody will go and fill forms here and there and even try to adulterate figures and so on. Because when the bureaucracy is so long, people try to also milk the system by altering figures and so on. Yeah. So for me, yes, if the process in Ghana is that the president must apply, that is fair. He should apply for it. But if that is not the process, then I think we have not dealt with him fairly because he has served the nation for a period, and for a full year, if he is denied of any remuneration, I don't think it is fair.
Well, I'm sure that my producer is on the beats. We definitely have to get some more details. Like I said, I do not even know exactly what exactly the Constitution spells out. So it'll be very educative enough for us to be able to share all of those details with you. So we'll be looking at it, and I'll definitely come back. But if you read the story on this particular headliner, the minister, Mustafa Hamid, Information Minister, goes on to say that he will be dealt with. The former president's situation will definitely be dealt with, and then he says former President Kufuor has not even been given his accommodation since 2009, when he left office. So indeed, now looking at this and how it's been captured, and the suggestion that it could be a deliberate attempt on the part of government to have delayed it. It's been 10 months already.
That is where I have a problem with the way we play politics in this country. We try to balance the scale when we realize that we have erred. Because if the Minister of Information is saying that it will be dealt with, then that means that it doesn't necessarily need the president, the former president, to apply before paying him, because you know that it will be dealt with whether he applies or not. So if you have delayed for 1 full year, better concede that, well, it's an oversight, we have made a mistake, we're going to correct it and pay it, and not try to balance it by saying that President Kufuor has not been given his accommodation. Yes, it's a mistake on their part. Maybe they have made a lot of errors, and that is why Ghanaians decided that they should go and sit somewhere for a new government to come and do the right thing. And so we expect them to do the right thing and not just try to balance it. We have been in this new dispensation for 1 year now, and if President Kufuor has not been given his accommodation as we are talking about, within the 1 year, what has NPP also done?
So, very interesting revelations in this report. And so, Mustafa Hamid says, Chief of Staff Fremose Opari has designated an officer at her office specially to deal with John Mohammed's claims. So they should liaise with her and everything will be sorted out. Is that the process? Is that what it's supposed to be? I mean, going forward, how best do you think that we can prevent some of these headline stories? Really, I mean, I think we have more pressing issues as a country to be dealing with than to be talking today about, you know, some of these things. People are dying, children are dying,
so
all
actually,
kinds of things.
Today I expected more to talk about what is happening in our schools where children are dying.
I'll give you that. And, just wrap up.
It looks
on this
like the front pages of the papers are covered with the ex gratia of the former president. We shouldn't be dealing with that by now. It should have been paid, because if it has been agreed upon that that is what is due him, we know the process of paying the president over the years, and so we should have paid him and not engage the public's attention with this, and rather think about the pressing issues facing the nation today.
Okay, so we're wrapping up now. You're here, and so I really want to touch on this one. So the GMA, NAGRATS, which you're president, you've waded now into the SHS health concerns. There have been a lot of, you know, suggestions, people talking about the fact that the Ghana Health Service is being more reactive rather than being responsive. The teachers or leadership in our various schools as well probably not living up to expectation. It's a whole lot of issues coming up. What is your own position? And I see that you've been captured there. Exactly what has been your position on all the happenings and the deaths that have been recorded following the infections in our schools?
Actually, we spoke to the finder and expressed our frustration about the way things have gone so far. We know it is not the making of any person, but we think that it is a manifestation of the health situation in our schools. Many schools in this country do not have the appropriate health facilities and healthy conditions to be able to allow people to live peacefully and then conduct their activities as expected. A typical senior high school, the population there, if you put it together, is more or less a town on its own, because you can have about 3,000 teenagers in a particular school. And that school doesn't have a sick bay, it doesn't have a hospital, it doesn't have an infirmary, it doesn't have anything. And that is a worry to us. The school community is made up of students, teachers, other non-teaching staff, and their families, and so on. All these people put together, it's a huge population that we need to pay very big attention to. These things are happening, students are dying here and there, and it's a worry to us. Well, the Ghana Health Service has done well so far, but we are still panicking because a lot of teachers are afraid, should we continue to stay in the school? Parents are panicking, should we keep our children in the school, and so on and so forth. We need constant information and education on what is going on. And then, as much as possible, try to do our best to arrest the situation as quickly as possible so that we can all set our minds at ease and then perform our duties as expected of us. Today you see that I've been in red to show that
it was for a reason.
An expression of our unhappiness about the way schools are being managed and treated in this country. That is why I'm in red today. In fact, after this, we're going to have a press conference and talk about a lot of issues today.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was just your usual fashion sense. So we definitely will be there to give you coverage and hopefully report it as you will put it out. Okay, we wish you all the best. But we definitely want to know at this presser exactly going forward what is, you know, the leadership of the education sector, what you would want to see happen as pertaining the health structure in the various schools. So thank you once again. Christian Adaipoku, he is President NAGRAT. Unfortunately, Selon Brantier couldn't make it here. But yeah, I'm wrapping it up, and then there'll be some other conversations that are coming up shortly. Enjoy this video. It's Holy Nights from Dona, a Ghanaian arts.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Whoa, 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 whoa. Long lay